Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whatever time you're watching this, as always, thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. So super excited to have everybody on tonight. If you caught my live stream earlier, then you know I'm working on a new video, so that'll be out soon. My first banana outing out at the Delta, so gonna be a good video. That'll be coming out soon. But today's subject, let's see if we can clean this for you guys. Sorry. That's a little bit rough. It didn't look clean. Let's see, I probably made it worse, huh? Let me use like something soft on it. Sorry, folks. There we go. Just needed to focus in. All right, sorry about that. Rough start. Okay, start over. So today's video, we're going to be talking about how to analyze your fishing, what you're doing, how to analyze your mistakes, how to analyze the situation and improve on it, and make changes to what you're doing if you're doing something wrong. And then how do you know when you're doing something wrong? So we'll talk about that tonight. And feel free to leave your comments. If you would, also smash that like button, subscribe, share the video if you would, help the channel grow. So really appreciate it. Also remember, we do have memberships available. So for those of you who are members, really appreciate it. How's it going? Keeping it real? Heck yeah, we got Danny in the house. So just talking about our members there. There's one of them. But anyways, so I want to start out with, first, we're going to talk about how do you know you're doing something wrong. So there's two easy ways. First is going to be if you're not catching anything, you're probably doing something wrong. Number two is if you're hooking things or you're getting bit, but you can't hook up, then you're probably doing something wrong. And so how do you know what you're doing wrong? That's a little trickier. So it depends what you're doing, what you're throwing. But what you really need to be attentive of is try to remember that fishing isn't always going to be explosively active. It's not always going to be just killer, but it shouldn't be dead most of the time either. You should be getting something. You also got to try to learn to use your electronics if you've got them. Use your pole as a fish finder. Now I want to talk about one thing that we learned at the Delta yesterday that was real critical and clutch, that we learned about 2/3 of the way through the day. Once we learned that, we went to town and started catching a bunch more fish. We still had some fish, but it was a relatively tough, slow day. And as soon as we figured out, damn, this one fly is bugging the hell out of me. Once we did figure it out, well, then we went to town and we replicated. And then he got a big one eventually. We got a bunch of fish, had fun. And it was just a bit, so you have to cover water. Just the big ones are going to be, on little ambush spots. Us and could catch 100 1-pounders, but one place could have that 5+, right? And so that's what happened for us. So that video is going to be coming out soon. But anyways, how to know when you're doing something wrong, right? Again, when you're not catching anything or when you're losing what you were getting on or getting bit and not hooking up. So let's talk about the first one. When you're out there on the lake, the windy Wednesday tourney, nice. Yeah, it's super crazy windy right now. I'm like, that's a very fitting name for that tournament right now. It's very windy right now. And one of the things why I don't really like doing the windy Wednesday nighters is I love nighttime fishing in a lake when I have like a huge distance between the shorelines, or at least a big enough one where I can get in the middle, right? And then pitch black, I can run and I don't need a flashlight or anything. And I can see shoreline and I can see the difference. But at the Delta, you could think the shoreline's right there and that you're okay. And then there might be a small patch of tules that had it been daylight, you would know it's only like a foot deep right there. And you may go smashing through something and bottom out. You could wreck really easy at the Delta smashing around at night. And I know it doesn't happen often, and I know the delta actually pretty well. But with that being said, I'm just not really comfortable wanting to fish the delta at night versus a lake, if that makes sense. I just feel a lot safer and just feel smarter. The windy Wednesday nighters, though, are crazy fun. I've done one of them, and kudos to the guys that do them, man. They look like they'd be awesome. A lot of, for me anyways, I catch a lot of big fish at night. So I know I'd do okay at them, but I know that a lot of guys catch big fish at night, not just me. So, yeah, in daytime alone, there's a lot of obstacles you got to watch out for, right? So imagine at night, it's just that much more dangerous, but you know, it is fun. It's a cool little circuit. You know, those the windy Wednesday nighters, those are pretty cool. I wanted to get involved with them. Like I did, like I said, one or two over all the years, but not really. Like the lakes, I like the lakes at night. And during the daytime, I love the delta though. Like I feel super safe. Like I'll smash around, whatever, you know. But as soon as it gets nighttime, I want to get somewhere tucked up against the shore and use my trolling motor. So at the delta, like what I do is when I tournament fish at night, I just go out, week, and then just fish this trolling motor all night long. And yeah, so I got to buy 2 new batteries. My trolling motor's going dead. Anyways, so I want to talk about, like I was saying, how do you know when you're doing something wrong? How to analyze your fishing, right? And so let's say we're talking you're not catching anything. We're gonna start with that one out of the possibilities, right? You're not catching anything, or you're getting bit but you're not hooking up, and then 3, you're hooking up but you're not landing. So with the first one, you're not catching anything. Obviously, you're doing something wrong. That doesn't mean there's not fish there. So one of the things to do if you're not catching anything is figure out what have you done so far. Okay, how fast have you fished? How slow have you fished? How shallow have you fished? How deep have you fished? And what presentations have you thrown? And have you or do you have a fish finder? And have you used it? Can you see anything on it? Is there anything giving you signs of life, bait, any good structure at least that you'd like to toss at? Because sometimes the fish will tuck into those big rocks, right? So you have to analyze what you've been doing. Because when you go fishing, just go have fun and go fish. And then look around, figure it out. Say, oh, I think I'd throw this, and go do it. And then when it doesn't work, you start changing, right? And so you start to, okay, so here's at the point where you're realizing, okay, a couple hours gone by or something and no fish. This is not fun. So you need to seriously analyze, first of all, your speed. How fast are you going? How slow are you going? Are you stuck in just one spot fishing it for 2 hours, thinking you're going to pull a fish because you sure there's got to be one there, and you've tried shallow and deep, and you've tried 100 lures, but you're stuck on one spot? You know, have you, you know what I mean? You got to, like, what did you just blow down the shoreline making casts at every beautiful looking cropping and rock and just use reaction? Did you just, you know what I mean? Think about what you were doing, because that could have been the ticket, right? But if it wasn't, you just covered all this shoreline throwing a crankbait or a jig, and you're not getting them, then you need to analyze, first of all, like I said, your speed. Second of all, the type of lure and where in the water column it at. Like, that's the biggest thing. It's like, is the lure a reaction bait, like a crankbait, swim bait, jerk bait, spinner bait? Is it moving along in the upper water column, top water, or is it bottom bouncing nature, right? Because basically, now here's what you're trying to figure out. Are the fish shallow on the bottom, or are they suspended, like up above, right? So if they're suspended, they could be anywhere from just a couple feet off all the way to right underneath the boat, right subsurface. So if you have your fish finder, that should tell you that information right there. So now, so look at your fishing now. Have you been bottom bouncing while you've been going slow or fast, whatever? Okay, have you tried reaction? And then, have you just been throwing reaction in top water? Okay, have you tried bottom bouncing? So you got to think about like the types of fishing that you're doing. Are you fast in power? Are you upper middle water column? Even if you're lower, are you moving along in the lower? Or are you dragging and hopping? Are you shaking and popping? Are you, is it jig? Is it drop shot, Ned rig, Texas rig, U head, swing head, shaky head? Is it a tube? What are you doing, and how have you been doing it to not get bit, right? And don't do that. And so try something different. So speed 1, 2, like lure and presentation type, and then 3, shoreline structure, right? Like, are you fishing rocks, like constant, just vertical stuff? Fishing long tapering stuff? Are you fishing kind of like a 45 with some mix in it, or are you at like a transition? Are you in a cut? Are you on a main lake point? What are you doing where when you're not catching these fish, right? And again, don't do that. Try doing something else. Move on to a different pattern or technique or place. And so that third part would be like, cover different water. So also, what part of the lake are you in? Are you in the north arm? Is there a different arm, a different channel creek arm, or a different? Can you go to the south end? Can you go upriver? Right. So go try somewhere else, and that's another thing, because fish will move. They will straight all pull off and move and take off big time, like most of them, and they'll have areas of the entire lake that just seem barren, that are really hard to catch a fish, and then others will just be stacked because these fish will start to pull off and school up. And so when they do that, the fish become less numbers on the shore, like where it's easy to go and just catch 100 fish by just covering shoreline. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, there's a fish. Get some smalls and bigs, pre-spawn, spawn, post-spawn. That's all over now. Excuse me, at least in California and these lakes mostly, right? So those fish have all pulled off now. They're big old rat packs of them, a lot of them, or congregations thereof, right? And there are some scattered fish here and there. There are always fish doing different stuff. But that's why you need to, look at a different end of the lake. Now, right now, I'm not a pro on drought conditions, but if I remember correctly, there were always 2 places I did good at a major drought. And that would be not the northernest, not the most northern that you could get, because let's take McClure for example, like Bagby and the Narrows, that would literally dry up, and the water would be right past Arnold Bay, just a little bit further, a couple swings down, and right by that turn going towards Horseshoe Bend. Horseshoe Bend was all dried up. I remember Horseshoe Bend dried up, Bagby dried up, Horseshoe Bend dried up. From Horseshoe Bend to Arnold Bay almost dried up. There's barely a puddle in Arnold Bay was dried up. And that was like that was the end of the lake, right up by Arnold Bay and stuff. And it was around that area. It was really good. And then down at the very south end of the lake. So it just depends on your lake, the lake levels. Right now, lakes are pulling water out, and there's no water coming back in. There's not a lot of snow melt. There's no rain, major droughts. So our lake levels are going to be super bad this year, right? And they're going to change drastically. So fishing is going to change and all of this stuff, and it's already showing. It's getting a lot tougher. But that just means change your game, change what you're doing, move. The fish are moving. Find them, hunt them down. Use your electronics, right? So that's my advice for if you're not catching anything. Change what you're doing. Analyze what you've done. Don't do that. Change it. Always remember it's usually better to slow down than speed up, because if you think you're going to, a lot of the time you think you're going slow, that's not like what guys like us would consider slow. And even then, some guys might laugh and be like, dude, it's like I got a bud named Jeremy. He's like, you super fish fast. There are times where I fish like a snail, though. and he knows it and he's seen me. I dead stick and fish baits like literally like a bait will hold them. That's also a sleeper technique. Sometimes you'll be out there, you can see fish on the fish finder, and you're working your lures and you can't catch them. You just sometimes throw your bait down there and just wait. I'm telling you, up to like 2 minutes. Just wait, and you'll feel that. Make sure you're using a soft plastic that's scented. Toss it down and just let it fall and land there and chill. And I bet you when you find other stuff hard and you can't figure them out, that technique right there, money will pay off. That you'll feel that little. That's the fish comes up and just ploop. You will be fishing the Delta this weekend with an outgoing tide and always struggle with tide. What do you recommend to help you have success? I'll tell you what, Curtis, there are 2 lures, 3 technically, that I live and die by at the Delta, and my buddy Jeremy will second this. We absolutely do not throw almost anything. We will a little bit, right, because we're not stupid. So in some instances we'll frog, some instances we'll punch, some instances like we'll use certain lures, right? But most of the time, I'd say a good 75 to 85% of the time is spent with 2 main lures. If not, we'll say 3. And that would be a square bill crankbait, and that would be a Texas rig Cinco. Good old bullet weight, go through the weeds and all the crap. And if you have tide coming out and it gets to go to low tide, remember the fish a lot of the time are like way pulled off. So fish the outside weed edges. So and then depending on the shore and the depth and all that, a lot of giants and fish, just in general, 2-3 pounders, will be in between the weed clumps. So when you got your glasses on at the Delta and you see areas where you see this big green patch, and then you see this other green patch, and then another one, but you see like these like 1 to 2 foot open lanes of like dirt, clear water where there's no green or anything. What you want to do is, if especially if you have like a big opening on one side and then some big green patches and then kind of an opening on another side, post your boat up, cast over that, and pull your lure through like that opening, like a little road, like a highway, so you don't really get snagged or get in the weeds, and you drag it and pop it real slow. And the fish that are inside of those weeds, instead of punching and having to go through that crap or mess with them like that, they will come out and investigate if you're doing it real slow, and then you'll just feel this little, and it could be giants and it could be little fish, and you'll catch a ton of them like that at the Delta. So when the tide pulls off, they'll be in that weeds, but look for like the patches and open areas and fish them real slow and take your time. And then on top of that, fish the outside edge where it drops off to go to like 6 to 10 or whatever plus feet deep, where you got low tide and it gets real shallow, and then you got that drop off. Fish that edge right there on low tide like that, and use things like crankbaits and Cincos. And then what you do is, if even better, fish everything that becomes and creates a point, an ambush spot. So every dock or every jutting out thing, and if you notice, the Delta is windy a lot, so look for the direction of the wind. So say the wind's going a certain way, then you don't want to be on points facing this way. You want to be on the points that are out along that direction. So that what happens is you've got a shoreline with, let's say, a bunch of points, right? And you got a bunch of spots where the bass can hide. You want to fish parallel to that stuff, right? So you want to find where, let's say, the wind, there's some docks set up and the wind is howling this way. But over here, there's docks set up and the wind is pushing at. So let's say the shore bends, right? There's docks here and there's docks here, right? And there's like an L turn, and you got docks here and docks here. But the wind is going this way. Well, on this shore, right, the wind will slam against it. There will be fish there, but they'll be positioned a certain way. The fish right here, when the wind is going across it, will be faced out like a certain direction. So treat every stupid little stump, extra tule that sticks out further, treat it as that's a spot where a fish could hide right next to it because it sticks out the furthest and it's the furthest safety. So anything coming in front of that is going to get nailed. And if there's any danger, it can back off, move, whatever, do what it's got to do, right? So that's what I would do at the Delta. Crushed them last week with rainbow trout Cinco at Curtis. All right, nice. Yeah, see, so a Cinco is a killer technique when you're struggling and you really need to figure out what the heck is going on. Oh, Steven wanted to know if he could help me on some jobs. I'll let you come along on one or two of them if you wanted, buddy. I don't mind. It's just got to be careful so you don't get hurt. But yep, I love you, brother. I got you. So now, P-line fluoro, what's your take? I heard a lot of people trash it, and I put it on recently and snapped it a ton of times, but I noticed I think a lot of it was my technique and what I was doing. And a lot of guys say you need to use mono for this or fluoro for that. I'll tell you, I'm kind of stubborn, and I have two main rules. I almost fish exclusively fluoro, and that's it. When I use braid is going to be topwater frog or punching, and I'm dealing with massive nasty cover like lily pads and just crazy stuff that I got to get through, that I just got to wrench something through or just peg it, hold it, and get to it, and then be able to pull my worm, or if I get snagged, pull my stuff through, right? So other than that, the reason I use fluoro, and I'm a changing fisherman, always evolving. But the reason I use fluoro is going to be a couple different things. Is for sensitivity primarily, and how it works with some of or most of my lures. Some lures it gets tangled with in the hook sometimes, but if you maintain proper speed and you like learn to dial it in, it's a pain in the ass, but you can deal with that. So it's just it kind of it has some trade-offs, but I really love the sensitivity to it and that it has no stretch. And so you would think, well, I want, like, say you're going to set the hook, something really hard. You might want something with a little bit of stretch, but not me, because what I'll do is I'll just try to use a sharper hook, less force, drag set, so that once I peg that thing, and if I continue to drill it, my reel will give and the line won't snap. And so I think having your drag set is super important. I mean, drag is so important, you know, because it's your backup for when you, if you do or when you do screw up. And drag is super important on a spinning reel, right? Or learning how to back reel. But if you set the hook, the reason why drag's so important is even if you're a back reeler, is if you set the hook and you set too hard or you set into that fish and then it's a 10-pounder and it goes on a massive dive on its first hook set, you need some give, you know, to give you time to adjust your stance, your body, to figure out how you're going to play or fight this fish, what direction it's running, all that crap that runs through your head in like the first 2 to 3 seconds when a big one makes a move to the left or to the right. You know what I mean? So what I do is I, like I said, drag is really important. And then the other thing is I really fell in love with the LV 500 technique that involves just casting it out wherever you're going to cast it, letting the LV fall to the bottom, and then a soft pop up, and then letting it fall like a jig, right? And the thing is, if I get in some weeds or something, I just pop that sucker, and with that fluoro, it just pops it right out, and I don't snap the line. And then if I get in some weeds, I could do that double rip. See, with mono, it would have way too much stretch. It would never work for me. And and also my technique when I do that LV 500 and I lift my rod and then the LV comes up, and then when I start to drop my tip to follow the bait, a lot of times bass will come up and hit that LV as it's falling down, and all you'll feel, I have slack line and everything, but because I use fluoro and decent quality rods on my bait casters, on the ones that I use for this technique anyways, you feel this little tick. It's just like a smaller than a bluegill, but you know it wasn't what you know what I mean? You know it's not natural. It's just a slight tick. That all I need to do with fluoro is I don't need to set the hook. With fluoro, all I do is I reel and lift up and reel. And then once they're hooked, I just can bring myself back into position. And those trebles just rip right into them. And so I think each fisherman has their own. That's why I'll never come on here and say, I know what's right or I know what's wrong, because there's high-level pros that make millions of dollars doing this that'll argue on this stuff, right? And they're both successful fishermen. And one may say, I use mono on this and that, and the other one says, well, I use fluoro, or one uses braid, and you know what I'm saying? So anyways, my bad. I got off on the weeds on that one. So let's read some comments real quick. So, how's it going, James David? I like Sunline. What up, Sam, the man? How you been, buddy? Doing good. How you doing, Mark? Real question: when you bank fish, do you stand like 5 feet away from the bank, or can you stand right on the water's edge? I get right on the water's edge. You get really quiet, and you get really low, and you don't ever walk up to the spot that you think the fish are at. So look at the shoreline and be like, if I was a fish, where would I be sitting? Like ambush wise, where would the perfect spot be? And walk to like where you think the lamest spot is, and stand there and then fish at everything. And then the thing about shore fishing is when you're doing it, let's say you start right here, and then what you're going to do is cast as far as you can each way, right? And then choose a direction. And then what you do is, you know that you can cast, let's say, from here to here, right? So you cast from here to here. Then instead of walking from here to here, you know if you walk to here, you can cast to that very same spot. So you can hop and then cast from here back to you, and then you can turn around, face this way, and you can cover much more shoreline, right? And what you really want to do, if you're 5 feet away from the shore, your angle's wrong on your hook set. You're too far up usually on the shoreline. Your leverage is going to be off. And also the fish, you're actually going to be easier to see from the fish because you're higher up and you give yourself more of the water can see you, versus if you're right at the edge, you can crouch down and be low and almost be part of the background as all the fish is concerned. Maybe just right in front of you, they might be spooked. But again, you just fish everywhere, you cover water, and then in 2 minutes when you leave where you were standing, if there was a fish there and you spooked it, it'll probably come right back. So, you know, either way, and also by being close to shore, that allows you to get close to shore. Let's say you stand on shore and you cast out. So let's say this is shore and the water is going this way. So you cast as close to shore as you can and bring your lure back to you. So if you're 5 feet up here, you're going to cast out, and your cast ends. You don't cover the whole thing correctly. And then if you're shore fishing, right? So shore fishing is an awesome, different thing. I love it. I've shore fished for so long. I just got my first boat when I was like 31 or something like that. So, yo, bro, any Pokemon cards? My brother has Pokemon cards. I might have a few, but I'm more of a sports, and then weird collectible cards and stuff too. I got military cards. I got all kinds of weird stuff. But and I do have some Pokemon cards, but I don't think they're worth anything. I think my brother has some OG stuff that's worth some okay money. Nothing like super fancy though. But so you vertical jigging those LVs? Exactly. And the way that I do it, my technique, every freaking pro angler, every guide is going to tell you, here's what I'm going to show you guys right now. Okay, and then please, like, like I'm saying, everybody has a different way of fishing, right? Everybody has a different way. I'm going to explain my way, and it's what works best for you. I've tried the other ways. I'm getting better at it. But even then, there's still some techniques like that LV 500 that is imperative that I do it this way. So let's see if I can get the point across, like how much of this I can show. Okay, so what happens is when you cast, most pros tell you keep your rod tip like low like this so that when you get a bite, you have more room to set the hook, right? Well, what I do is I'll straight up fish with this mother trucker like damn near like this, like doop 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 doop, hella high. And you're like, what the because at this angle with all that line slack hanging, when the bite is sensitive, see, when the bite's vicious, I'm usually not fishing like this. But when the bite is sensitive, I can feel the slightest little mosquito land on my damn line. I can feel when those bass tick it. And believe me, there are certain techniques where the 5-pound bass will come up and eat your lure, and you will not know. You'll be sitting there like, because the bite is so light, right? So I do this, like I said. So what I do with those LV 500s, I bomb them out, right? And I start about right here, and I go like this, about a little higher than that, and then I follow it back down to about right here. And so I might be holding my pole at an angle of about this, right? And then when I get bit, and I feel that little tap, just a little tap, then what I do, see, I've got all this crap up here I gotta worry about. But what I do then is I lean back and I start reeling, and I use a high-speed reel. And with that fluoro line, it's almost like braid, no stretch. So I have a reactionary bite. Let's just imagine my pole is up here, right? Imagine my pole's up high, but I'm gonna hold like this. So my reaction is just like this. And then I reel really fast, and then I bring myself back into a position. And then when the fish jump and go all crazy, how they never get off for me is instead of my holding my rod tip high or holding it low, all underwater, or pointing it directly at the fish, I hold it kind of like at about this, and I kind of lean forward and just keep pumping. And as I see them jump, I just slightly lift and pump even faster just with the reel. They don't ever come off now. So especially in the daytime, and at nighttime, I've greatly improved and gotten a lot better with it. So anyways, my style of fishing on certain techniques, a drop shot, people might see me and be like, look at this idiot. What is he doing? You're not supposed to fish like that. And maybe 79 or 85% of the people would agree. But me, I catch fish like that. And I'm working on trying to hold the pole more at the lower level, but there are certain lure techniques that I just do not like the action or that the way that it just works. It's just hard to explain. And then when I get the bite too on certain hooks, like a drop shot, if I have my pole too low and I hook too hard, I usually pop the damn fish off or I rip the hook out. By having not that much leverage, it almost saves myself from an excited hook set when I'm using something like a Ned rig or a drop shot, and I need to be less powerful and I need to be more finesse. Having that rod tip high makes me attentive to that. So I don't know. It's a mistake, I know, technically, officially, the way the Bass Pros would say it, but I catch thousands of fish doing it. And then, so do I advocate others fish like that? I don't know. If you want to try it, but it's a technique. It's not used. I don't always do that. I do have my pole pointed straight or pointed at an angle for certain things. On when I'm fishing jigs or other things, my pole isn't as high. It just depends on the bite too. So if I throw a lure and I get a nice, and I'm jigging it along and I get a nice thump thump, I'm not going to fish like this. I'm not going to be all sensitive. You know what I mean? If I'm out there and I'm fishing and an hour goes by and then I find a saw or a half hour or 45, and then I think I have a fish and I'm like, what the hell? I didn't feel nothing. I lift up and it kind of lifts in with me. And I'm like, what? and then I'm like, I think it's a fish, and then I feel dum dum, and then you swing and it's gone, because it was a fish the whole time. You never felt it. Stupid friggin' and then you start realizing, oh, it's a slow bite. And you start dragging or going real slow, and then you eventually start feeling the moment when they pick them up. It's just a little bloom, and then that's when the fish picked it up and it sat there. Now, before you were popping or moving and being really active with your lure, right? So when the bite's like that, that's when I have my pull up higher. That's when I do that kind of stuff. So, anyways. Yeah, sports cards is where the money is. Yeah. Well, I'm not like a new sports card chaser. I've got what you would say a lot of my stuff is moderate to like old to medium old to like newish old. So from like the 50s and 50s and so up to like the 2000s or something like that. And then I've got some recent high level stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I got a ton of collectible cards though. I love them. All kinds of stuff. I had Dale Jr. or whatever, the one that crashed and died. We had his autographed rookie card, but someone stole it. And I know who it was, but I'm not going to name who. It was a family member. So, but it sucks. Things happen. And you know what? This probably sold for like $20 or $50 or $40. That thing's worth so much money right now. Tell you what, but hey, sometimes family is the one that does it the worst, ain't it? But hey, either way, I still have a loving, open heart and forgiving. And even then, like I'll never like forget though. I ain't stupid. I'm not easy. I don't like being taken advantage of, and it's not easy to be, try to watch out for that and then not feed into it. Let's just say that. So, but yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I forgot to ask, if you get a chance, smash that like button. Thanks for leaving comments tonight. Apologize, I was a little bit late, but appreciate you guys' support. Thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. So this is where we do our live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're working on a new video. I was out on the Delta as the banana. So I don't know. I got some footage as me as the banana. We got my hat flying off when I'm trying to drive. We got me like all burping in the suit, all, And then I caught, I think, one, if not two fish in the banana outfit. And it was kind of hot at one point. With the sun was just really baking me in the suit. So I took it off a couple times, caught fish with it off, and was wearing it most of the time, but had to take it off a few times. And at the end of the day, we just put it away. But we found a pattern. We got like a 5-pound bass. So Jeremy did, my buddy. And it was just a lot of little fish after we discovered our pattern. And he got just one nice one that happened to be in a good ambush spot. So ready to go back soon. I'm going back Friday. Going to go get my revenge on the deltoid. And then I think next Tuesday I'll be at Lake Tulik. So we got some cool videos coming for you guys on the regular side, where we're going to take you out fishing, have fun adventures, show you guys the spots that I'm fishing, what I'm using, and all that good stuff. Also, cheers. I'm drinking the Confused Therapist. You know what these guys are? These mofos are 10%. 10%. They don't play around. Woo! Now that's some beer right there, folks. It's not bad either. All right, folks. So we covered earlier how to analyze when you're not catching any fish, how to analyze what you're doing and try to change it. Now, let's say you're getting bit, but you can't hook up. What that means is the fish are usually short striking at your lure. They're not eating it. They're not committing. They're nipping. And you're feeling it, but that's it. you're not getting a fish to actually eat the whole thing, especially if you're getting short striked on like a jerk bait or a crankbait. Fish is coming up and tapping on the end and filling the treble hooks with its mouth and then shaking off real quick. And that shake off is actually what you're feeling. You're not even feeling the fish touch it because they're being so careful with it. So, who's there? That was crazy. Door just opened like an inch or two. Anyways, a wiggle, wiggle. You know it. And do the titty wiggles. How much action do you do on your drop shot? Show you a wiggle, wiggle. With the drop shot, dude, depends, man. Sometimes with the drop shot, I dead stick it. I just chill. And I just barely go up and down every once in a while. Sometimes not stop. Sometimes just go down and just let it sit. And then pop it a little bit. Nothing. Okay, recast. My favorite way to work a drop shot, to be honest, is to just bomb that sucker as far as I can. Send that sucker into the moon, right? Flying. Let it go, whether it's in a foot of water or 50 feet, I don't care. And then just slowly pop it and drag it back to me. And I'll cover massive amounts of water like that when it's a slow bite and catch a ton of fish like that. It's my little search bait. Then once I get one bite, I know there's more down there usually. I'll stick a fish and catch it, and I'll spot lock, and I'll just start fishing. It's like my fish finder. So I'll cast it in front of me really far. And then let's say I'm paying attention to the fish finder in front of me. I got someone in the boat and they're fishing near me, fishing the shore. And it's been a deep day where they're deep, or they're just kind of scattered, whatever. Then or we're searching and we're looking, we haven't caught them yet. And I'll just toss that thing. And I can toss it up real shallow and pull it kind of deeper towards me. I can toss it out in medium water, 20 feet, whatever, toss it 50, 60, 70, 80 feet of water and work that thing back and know that if there's any fish down there, I'm more than likely going to get bit. And after a bit of that, if I'm not getting bit, then I'll put it down, and that's when I pull out like the crankbait, the spinner bait, the top water. Because if there's fish there, they're just maybe not on the bottom. That's your other thing, is you got to figure out, are the fish on the bottom or are they suspended? So second thing we're going to cover here is okay. Thanks for supporting nieces and nephews. Appreciate it and love you guys. This is Common Sense Fishing, Uncle Sam to you guys. So thanks for watching. Apparently we got my niece and nephew on. They're probably one of the guys, one of the viewers here. Smash that like button. But anyways, if you're getting bit and you're not hooking up, you need to analyze your hook. What's cracking? What's going on? How's it going, Racho? We're talking about how to analyze your fishing and when you're making mistakes and like what to do to be better and like how to watch for like what, And we were covering three things. We're covering when you can't catch any fish, how do you figure out what's what? And then the second one is when you get bit but you can't hook up. And then the third one's going to be when you hook up but you're dumping fish. So we're on number 2 and we're talking about getting bit but not even hooking up. So usually you need to first that means you're getting short strikes, right? So usually the fish aren't committing. So you need to analyze your speed and the action of your lure. Is it too tight of a wobble? Is it too big of a wobble? Is it throwing too much water and giving off a bad vibe? Like, is it drawing them and then at the last minute kind of throwing them off? Or is the wobble too tight? Look at the wobble, the crankbait. A Strike King has a big wobble, throws off a lot of water. Ishman Row and is a tighter wobble. A Rapala is a very tight wobble. So, different lures are going to have different actions. So don't be afraid to try a couple casts with each different one and see what it gets cracked on. And I'll tell you a lot of information right there. Look at the type of lure. If you do get bit and you are getting fish, then look at what are you catching it on, right? And then try to develop a better pattern off of that. But anyways, so you're getting bit, but you can't hook up. Speed of lure. Are you fishing too fast and these fish can't catch up to you? Are you fishing too slow and they can analyze it and they're backing off? Or are you not creating a reaction to make them really want to eat? Usually it's you're fishing too fast, so slow down, let the fish catch up to the lure and actually eat it. They're following it and they're following it, and then they kind of go to eat it, but they're spooked, and then they get a little hook and they throw it off, and all you feel is do. Next thing you know, you swing, there's nothing there, right? So, excuse me, try a different speed. The other thing is try some jerks or erratic motions in your retrieve. Even with the regular retrieve lure, like a spinnerbait, square bill, jerk bait, not jerk bait, sorry, or a crankbait, any kind of crankbait. Give your rod some tugs, and while you're reeling, jerk your rod or spin your reel up, you know, and do some different things with your lure. Underwater, create those moments where your lures are doom, doom. So your lure is just swimming along, doom, doom, you know, and then that creates that fish that's looking at it and follow it. When it does that, bam, that fight or flight kicks in, or sorry, eat or feed, right? It wants to eat that lure, so it's going to crack on that lure and eat it. So that's another thing to do. If you're getting bit but you're not hooking up, change your speed, change your tactics on how you're bringing it in. Look at the wobble or the vibration that your lure is giving off. Are you throwing a straight tail worm? Well, then try a curly tail worm. Are you throwing a curly tail? Well, then throw a straight. Are you throwing a jig with a big old honky trailer? Well, then downsize. Are you throwing a little tiny jig? Throw a little bigger one. You know, try some different things. If you're getting bit, but you're not hooking up, that's the first tip. Second is look at the rod and the line. Make sure you're using the right stuff with the right stuff, right? The little flimsy trout-like rod that's your crankbait rod, that is not the rod you want to throw a jig on or a Texas rig worm. So make sure that you're using the right gear for the right stuff. And check your hooks. Other than that, you know, stuff happens, you're gonna miss fish. So, you know, that's covering number two. Now, number three, when you hook them but you lose them, we're going to cover that here in a second. Let's read a comment or two. So he is watching on the living room TV. So, hey, how's it going, little dude? Nice to see you on. Love my fam. So anyways, if you're hooking up, you're getting bit, you're hooking the fish, but they're dumping on you, you need to start analyzing, like, what are you doing when they're getting off at that exact moment, and how are they getting off? And what lure are you catching them on? Sound like a pirate. What lure are you catching them on, right? So are you bottom bouncing? Are you getting them on a drop shot? Are you getting them on a crankbait, top water? So if you're getting them on a top water and they bite, but you kind of get them and then lose them pretty quickly or lose them after a second, and it happens a lot, you're probably swinging too quickly. For one, you need to wait and let the fish actually take the bait and then set the hook on it. If you're using like a drop shot and you get bit and you hook up and you're losing the fish rather quickly, you're probably reeling too fast and excited, and what that does is, even if you have drag, it causes your pole tip to bounce, and then that itself just like basically pulls the hook out on its own. It just makes it super easy. You want to have a pretty decent, solid not, and again, don't have your pole tip. You can have it high, but make sure you immediately drop it and to keep on that pressure. So are getting off. He thinks she might be a pirate looking for booty. Arr. So you need to, if you're getting hooked and you're dumping them, it's all like, and you're getting hooked on the crankbait, but you're dumping them, what kind of rod are you over fighting them? Or is your drag set correctly? Are the big fish getting off? Are they getting off when they make runs and they dive and they pop off? Or are they throwing the crankbait when they jump? You know, if they're doing that, you're not reeling and keeping pressure on them. When they jump, you need to keep pressure. You need to keep reeling, but you don't need to lean back. You need to keep the reel kind of the pole and reel kind of pointed at the fish, at like a 45 like this. Don't have it straight up and down. Don't have it like this. Have it kind of like that, and reel when the fish jumps. If you're losing them when the fish pulls and dives and tugs, then you need to lighten your drag a little bit. And you also may need to look at the action, the rod. You know, what kind of action do you got? Are you throwing it on a light enough rod? Is it too stiff and heavy? Is the rod not taking some of that bend? Crankbaits usually use a very flexible rod. So just, you know, pay attention to what gear you're using. Just like you don't throw a frog on a trout rod, right? You don't do that. So top water, same thing. You need to analyze, what are you doing? Are you swinging too soon? Is your rod too light? Is it not stiff enough? Is the line not right? So each different bait has its own features or things you need to kind of look at. Is it a jig, right? In my case, I use Bichon jigs, and I use their open hook jigs. So I don't use jigs with weed guards. I don't like weed guards unless I'm fishing in wood. So I'll keep a small variety of other jigs on deck for if I'm fishing wood. And if I'm fishing weeds, I don't like a jig anyways. I'll throw a Texas rig. So, but if I'm fishing in rocky water or dirty water or dirt, you know, and rock and stuff like boulders and all that, like McClure, Don Pedro, New Maloney's, then I'll throw a open hook jig, and you don't set the hook as hard. If you set the hook too hard, you're creating this giant gash and tear. And then in certain lures, like a crankbait or others, if you don't set it hard enough, or you don't have everything dialed in correctly, you may kind of pin them with the hooks, but none of the hooks may actually pop through anything. So when it throws, you know, when it shakes, it throws it easy. So, you know, there's a fine line to be had with each lure as well. But that's the kind of harder part. You need to look at what lure are you throwing, and then look at your gear, look at your stuff. Is the right? Are you throwing the right stuff with the right stuff? Are you, you know, you got to analyze each lure separately. Unfortunately, that's the harder answer to answer for you guys. So, hope today's video helps. So, thanks for watching. I hope you guys smash that like button if you guys get a chance, and if you guys are new here, guys and gals, please subscribe. I appreciate the support. And we also have member sections where you can watch members only video. We have giveaways once a month. So appreciate all your guys' support. Now, what today's video is about, again, we're going to kind of do a recap, is the how to analyze and kind of correct and better your fishing. And the three things were, when you're not catching anything, you can't get bit. Number two was, what?
Sorry.
What's up?
Sammy's limping very badly. Do you want me to give her?
No, you need to wait for mom to do that.
Okay.
All right, love you. So number two is when you're getting bit but you can't hook up, and number three is when you hook up but you're dumping fish. So those are the three topics we covered tonight. I talked about that, and as always, we like to go down rabbit holes, have fun, talk about stuff. So I wanted to make sure I had a good topic for you guys tonight. We're going to cover it in depth, tried not to get off the rails, tried to have some legitimate fishing tips and tricks and information for you guys. Now, is there any questions? Do you guys have any questions you guys want to cover? Any topics you want to talk about? I'm yours for the rest of the night. So I appreciate your guys' support. So fire away and let me know. Otherwise, cheers. Salut. And am I wrong, but is it Happy Hump Day? And I didn't even say it today. Oh goodness. Happy Hump Day, everybody. It's Wednesday today. Totally forgot about that. But this is the internet, so you could be watching this on a Friday or Sunday or whatever day it is. That's why I always say good morning, good afternoon, good night. Whatever time you're watching this, as always, thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. So that's my little tagline. And I don't know, I like it. Because you never know, right? I'm always watching something on the toilet in the morning. Like, my wife's always like, are you done yet? Your little throne for peace away from 4 kids. For those of you who have kids, you know what I'm saying. How's it going, Caleb? So hope everybody enjoys the show tonight. Again, just going over some fishing tips and tricks to try to help out and analyze when we're doing something wrong and try to just correct it, because and then when I mean correct it, whatever catches you more fish. So everybody has their own unique way of doing something. Just as long as when you make mistakes, try to look at what's causing them, and I think you'll make them less if you start doing different things. Well, thank you. Shh. Let them know about the man's last refuge. What's a good crankbait casting rod and reel under 200 bucks? To be perfectly honest, I swear to you, we've caught so many double digits and 8-pound bass. Like when I say we, because I've got two on $60 combos where the rod and the reel were 60 bucks or less. I swear. And my buddy Jeremy, he's got around 10, I think, that are all on like $60 or less combos. And they are all on, spinning reels with medium to medium light rods, super flexible. And because if you look at like a glass Saint or whatever, like crankbait and badass rod like I got, it's just a flimsy little dinky rod. That's all it is. Nothing fancy. Yeah, it's real sensitive. But the trick is you need a crankbait. The bass smash it. And even if they don't and they hit it, you feel it. You just, away you go. So to be honest, like, big fish destroy your gear, no matter whether it's cheap or expensive. They destroy the cheap stuff. But we just go buy like $60 to $80 spinning combos. I love a spinning combo. That's my secret for big ass bass and perfect cast with a crankbait. Precision cast where I can put it in a little nook or cranny. I can put it in a shot glass. That's a spinning rod for me. Now, bait caster is too much thumb control, wind, how you whip it and throw it. There's too many like variables that go along with the spinning rod. I just pinch the line with my finger, and it's all hand-eye coordination, and then just the rod. So it's a lot easier. There's not as much reel factors to go in with it. And because of that, I can make precision casts 10 times better. So at like the Delta, I can see these little tiny lanes, and I can pop a crankbait right in there and just pull it right between stuff and just get bit by a fish and just love it and just smack them. Not every day is like that, but man, I've been fishing the Delta crankbaiting for a long time and caught a ton of big fish, but I've only been video recording the last year. And even then, I haven't been at the Delta a lot. I've been like all over the place. I had the Kelsey membership, so I was stuck there a lot. This year, you guys are going to see me all over like a fool. Like I'm going to be all over the place. Like I'm telling you, I'm excited. So. Yeah, the glass rods are nice, dude. They really are. I caught a double digit on one. I ain't gonna lie. So the one my wife got me, it was a good rod. But that's what, I'll keep it real. I do have a glass crankbait and rod, a St. Croix or whatever it is. And I'm pretty sure I pronounced it right. I'll burn out like that. But yeah. And it's a glass rod, crankbait rod, specifically made for cranking. It even, says it on there. And it shows you the weight, like what crankbaits it's best for the lure size and stuff. And it's like good for medium, for light, medium, and like medium heavy cranks. But you don't want to go like a super Mondo's on it. So the one that I got, I caught my double digit, by the way. For those of you watching the live stream right now, I will give you for free what I caught my latest double digit on. And it is the exact lure that I've been preaching for all these years. But for this last year that I've been on YouTube, I've been telling you guys I only crankbait. And when I throw a crankbait, I tell you, well, I bottom bounce too, right? A lot. But if I reaction, a lot of the time I crankbait big time. I love crankbaits and spinner baits and stuff. But now I crankbait a lot more than anything. So what's my favorite crankbait? An Ish Monroe square bill, right? Well, this wasn't a square bill, it's a deep diving. It was the Ish Monroe Goon, the cold blooded, the same exact color I got my very first double digit on with the Ish Monroe cold blooded Biggie Papa crankbait. I got another double digit on the Ish Monroe cold blooded Goon. So that was super awesome, super excited. And yeah, that was on the St. Croix glass rod. But like I said, my first double digit though was on a Hog Hunter 69 59.99 Walmart special, Jimmy Houston Hog Hunter, like a 6'6" medium spinning rod, the camouflage one. Oh, that little sucker, that little thing. That's my favorite rod right there. I swear to you, that rod caught me so many monster bass. It is so crazy. The cheapest, most reliable rod I ever had was the Jimmy Houston Hog Hunter from Walmart. It was so badass. That little rod caught me so many fish. Oh, well, crankbaiting for crankbaits. It was just a perfect crankbait rod. Oh, it was so wonderful for cranks. It was just, man, you couldn't buy a better crankbait rod for a better price. What's this? What is this? No, never heard of Sanger fishing lures. But hey, that's how it goes. I got people asking me about fishing right now. So Matt in the house. Anyways, any questions, any other topics, anything you guys want to go over? You guys got me for the rest of the night. Like I said, I went over what I really wanted to go over, talked about the fishing stuff that I wanted to talk about, keeping it super clean and professional tonight. So, having a good time as well, though. Always we'll chat, talk jokes, have a good time. You know how we roll. But that's why we do the end of the show like this. If you guys want to shout out anybody, you want to talk about anything, I'm here. We got an open forum. So if you want any tips or tricks, I'll tell you what I can. And other than that, just going to enjoy a beer and enjoy the time with you guys. So thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. Sanger Custom Lures are fire, brother. Yeah. I had a buddy who just asked me if I've heard of them. I'm like, I don't think I have. I'll have to check them out. So now we got two people saying Sanger Custom Lures, so we'll have to check them out for sure. Because I'll try anything for sure. I don't care. I'll throw any damn lure, and then when it works, if it works, you got me. I'm bought in. Fisherman sold. All right, let's do it. And the problem is, you catch lures with almost everything, but there is a huge difference between one of those made in China, where those you buy a pack of like 10 jerk baits for like $15.99 from China, or $10, like $1 a piece. What? Or whatever, 50 cents a piece for a jerk bait? What the hell? And you take it out, you don't catch nothing. Well, duh, no wonder you don't catch nothing. And then you take a mega bass jerk bait out, big difference, right? Nice. Custom painted lures, huh? So that's pretty good. I'll tell you what. Oh, no calls during the show, buddy. Got a buddy trying to call me. I think he's trying to talk fishing. It's like, dude, I'm doing the live stream. When it's over, we can chat. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's who that was. I don't want to, yeah. All right, cool. talk after the show. But yeah, thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. Hope you guys have a wonderful hump day. Any questions from you guys? Again, any comments, any topics you guys want to go over? If you guys want to rewatch this, you can. It has all the tips in it, you know. So when am I going to Clear Lake? Ooh, good question. I've been wanting to go. I could go right now. I could go tomorrow. Well, actually, I can't go tomorrow. I got work. And then next week's going to be all in the hundreds. Oh, my. So, I know I'm going to Lake Tulip Tuesday. I'm going to the Delta Friday. You know what? Clear Lake might be good if I go this weekend or not. Maybe next week's supposed to be in the hundreds. I don't know, man. Is Clear Lake going to stand up to all the heat without having to die off? And will the lake be accessible and all that? Because usually around this time of year, the lake gets putrid green. It's just funky, nasty. I don't know if it's there yet. I don't remember what time it happened, what time of year. It starts soon, though. So maybe I should go up there. You got me pondering because I've been wanting to go really bad, too. I want revenge. I want to go back. I had fun last time. Caught some 5-pounders, but I want to go catch some big fish. And I want to go catch more fish. You know what I mean? I don't want to just go. Yeah, but water looked pretty green, right? Yeah, I don't know. I've been there when it was green, and I've caught a lot of fish. Still, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I might just want to go to, like, say, that's why I'm going to the Delta so often. Yeah, he got a lot. See, I might want to go, but at the same time, I need to go before I should hit Hensley. Yeah, I've been contemplating Hensley. I've never been there, to be honest. I've never been to Hensley. I always go to Eastman, and people be like, "Go to Hensley." And you know what? I always heard growing up as a kid is that it was the catfish lake. The Eastman was the bass lake, and Hensley was the catfish lake. And I'm like, okay, whatever. But I've seen dudes posting some decent fish out of Hensley. So it's an Army Corps of Engineer lake, and I have a year pass, so I probably should go. I'll get in for free. So maybe a good idea. I think I'll hit Hensley. Be my first time there. Oh, shit. You got to show everybody. Look what my wife just brought me. Hell no, you got to relinquish. Mine. You're not getting it back. 10%. It tastes good though for 10%.
No, nothing tastes good.
Do you want to try it? Don't be a pussy.
It tastes crap.
Oh, I shouldn't have said that. See, I went the whole live stream all clean. 10, that's not bad, huh? Especially when it's cold. That's a warm one though. I've been sitting here. I know, yeah. Dude on Tug Addicts catches them. I've seen them on there, and MB559, I think, on Facebook. MB559 is a bass fishing page I'm part of as well. So it's cool. Bass Fishing Lovers is freaking exploded. It's already at like almost 2,000 people. I'm like, what the hell? We just had a giveaway for hitting 1,000. We're already at like 2. I'm like, well, damn, I'll be damned. I didn't think it would blow up that big. That's pretty cool. It's bigger than my freaking YouTube page already. I'm like, hey. But anyways. Oh, what? Let me see that. These people are trying to make me fat. Look at this. Do you got vitamin D milk, though?
Yes.
Oh, even better. They got the red milk. They got the fat milk. Hell to the yeah. This ain't going nowhere either. Back away. Or you put that in the fridge. I like my muffins cold, though. Love you. I got a sweet tooth if you didn't notice. Smash that like button if you like candy. Ha! Especially if you ever get the munchies, if you know what I mean. How you do? See what I mean, folks? Could be serious fishing, talking, and just about next thing you know, we hit McClure on the kayaks today. How was McClure, guys? How'd you do? I think McClure is going to be doing pretty good. It's been left alone by guys for so long. I think it's been starting to turn back on. And then when it gets low, I actually like it when it gets low. I can fish it really good. When it gets low, there's a couple places I go to, and I just sit and fish, and there'll be just tons of fish stacked up. And I know exactly where they sit. There's like 2 or 3 spots in McClure that I really like in the South Lake, and then there's like 3 up in the north end of the lake. Then when the lake gets really low by this summer, by the end of this summer in June, well, not June, but like August, September, October, when September and October come, oh, it's gonna be good even all before that. But when those fish start to pull off, like I know where they're going to be when the lake's at its lowest, and I'll be able to catch the ones that are really hard to catch. Then at least I'm usually pretty good at that, and we'll see. I didn't have a GoPro or video for the last few years, but when there was a drought, that's when I had my boat. My first boat was a Champion, and I was catching 8-pounders and 6s and 7s out of McClure pretty good. I was catching some big jig fish. I got a 6-pound spot at McClure on a jig. So there's a little, you know, wacky rig drop shot. Nice. We got some little spots, tons of markings. They were tearing bait fish up 30 feet by Barrett's, catching them on wacky rig drop shots. All right. Did you get anything of any size? So good job, though, by the way, catching them on the wacky rig drop shots. That lake can be pretty tough. I have a feeling it's going to start turning on. There'll be times when you should be able to use top water. And even when they're tearing them up on those, what I like doing sometimes when the water's nice and clear still is taking a jerk bait and using a suspended one and giving it pauses, long pauses. And then after about halfway or third of the way through my retrieve, I switch from a super slow jerk, jerk, jerk. And then like I do like 3, and I'll let it sit for like 10 seconds. And then I'll do it again, and I'll let it sit for 10 seconds. And then I actually start speeding it up where I go 2, and then like just a couple seconds, do. And because what'll happen is those fish will see that, and they'll come up for it. And in the summertime, they'll destroy that stuff. So I've seen them come out of 40, 50 feet deep to hit something sometimes in the top water column where they'll come just straight up like a missile. Like, it's awesome. A lot of suspended fish. Yeah, whopper plopper. Yep, a lot of suspended fish. I do pretty good if you guys get a chance in Cotton. Cotton Creek is pretty good. And if you get a chance, Arnold Bay, I usually do okay up in there this time of year. And where I caught my double digit almost this time this year, last year, up around the turn where you go from Arnold up you go up the Narrows, and then you hit that hard left and you go to Horseshoe Bend. Well, right there on that big main lake point right there, not the one on the left, the one in front of you towards the right. That's where I got my double digit. It's all on video. So that's a good little spot. I usually pull 2s and 3s out of there. I mean, that's the first time I pulled a double digit, but in that same day, I got like a 4-pounder just on the set of boulders before it too. So a lot of suspended fish though right now. That's right. The lake's dropping. So when the lake drops, the fish suspend. So another thing is try a deep diving crankbait. That'll catch you a lot of big fish at McClure right now too. Try getting near some more steeper walls and use like a deep crankbait, like up there by Barrett's, by past that point right there by Arnold. Oh yeah, you want to know how I caught the 6-pound spotted bass at McClure? I'll give you a secret. To be honest, this old timer told me that what he likes to do is take a football head jig or round head jig, and he will put a little trailer on it, and he says you go to the dam and you do it across the whole thing, and you stay out of the way, and he says cast your jig at the dam, and he goes and just let it roll down. He said, don't work it at all. He goes, it will naturally just roll down extra slow, and you'll feel it pick it up. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, and especially if you notice there's like seams that go down the dam where there was like different big plates of stuff put together and stuff. He goes, fish those particularly too. And sure enough, I cast and I'm just letting it roll down the dam. I catch a couple of twos and sure 6-pound spotted bass, my PB spotted bass. It was so freaking badass. It was one of the best bites, you know. It was a really strong, healthy, just powerful fish. And it was I had dumped a double digit like a couple of days earlier on a jig in a different spot, and my drag was not quite set. And I had fought this fish for like probably 4 or 5 minutes, and almost had it in and got it right up to the boat. And at that final moment when I seen it, it seen me. It went on its final lunge, and it pulled so fast, so hard, it popped off. Get my jig in, hook wasn't straight, and I just didn't have enough play though, enough drag. You know, my line went, but you could tell like the drag. Whoa, hey, what the goodness? That's not funny, asshole. Goodness. All right, so Last man, bet that helped me out, buddy. Dumped one on a deep diver. Yeah, deep diving crankbait right now should work really good. You just got to go hit some main lake points and some rocky or bigger boulders and stuff. What's your go-to jig trailer at McClure? D-bomb, a missile D-bomb, especially a baby D-bomb. I don't like big giant trailers usually. I like smaller trailers. And my favorite is a missile D-bomb, and I believe the color is called Cash Money. It's like a greenish blue or a greenish purple. It's like a two-tone color. It's really badass. One side's one color, one side's another. And I think it's called Cash Money D-bomb. That was what was on my jig when I caught my double digit, and that's what's been on my jig most of the time, all the time. And if not, I also have a little secret of, if you guys know, they make little Ned bugs and Ned rig things for your Ned rig, but the little crawdads and bugs and little creatures, and they're only like this big, but they're that Elastic crap. I'll use those on my jigs too, but you can't leave them on. They'll interact with the skirt, but I'll leave those, and catch them. But I'll use also the rubber versions of those so they don't chemically react with the skirt. And those have been working really good. Ned rig trailers, basically. So, and then I'll give you guys one of my secret go-to tricks, honestly, in the winter time. That is I've never seen guys do it. There's only one person I know that does it, and we catch a lot of fish doing this, is throw a straight tail worm on your jig as a trailer. Try it. You'll thank me later. 6-inch robo worm, and just thread it through so that it's snugly on, just like a regular trailer, and just that soft, subtle action with that poof ball jig, and that, you don't even know. Watch, you'll get crushed when they're on a finicky bite, but they're biting the jig, and they're kind of tough, but they're on the jig. Throw a straight, especially in the winter. Works a lot in the winter. Straight tail worm. So that's one of my favorite little secrets. I think I've said it before on the channel, but I don't blast it out there. I haven't made a video on it or nothing yet. But a straight tail worm, or even a Cinco. Those are things I throw on my stuff, weird stuff, and it works so good sometimes. It is so crazy. It's so weird that you would think it wouldn't, but hot damn. Any other questions? Thanks for interacting, 209 Basson. Really appreciate the questions. Same thing, Danny's Kitchen. Appreciate you guys and everybody else too. Everybody who's been watching. If you get a chance, smash that like button. But yeah, thank you guys very much. And again, any more questions? Any more topics you guys want to go over? It's about to be 9 o'clock, but I got on a little bit late. I don't mind running for a little bit longer with you guys. We got some people on here. If you guys want to kick it, have a good time. I'm always part of the game, but there is a giant box of M&Ms and chocolate muffins with a big, nice cup of milk calling my name. This beer, though, I'm not going to be able to finish that. Beer and milk don't mix. Chocolate. I feel like Homer Simpson, right? Chocolate. So, any questions? I can't wait though. I'm going to be out at McClure a little bit, but I'm buying a pass to Pedro for sure. So I'm going to be at Pedro a lot this year. You guys are going to see me at Pedro a bunch. And then the Delta, like I said, I've already been at the Delta a bunch, but I'm going to be there a bunch more. I need to pull a double digit out the Delta this year. I'm looking for another double D out the Delta. Can't wait. The Delta's got a ton of them. That's where I got my first double digit. So be a McClure a lot in September. Yep. Have fun, man. I'll be there for sure. I'll be at Pedro a lot. I'm going to get a season pass to Pedro. My goal this year is to fish a lot of random weird places. Places I've never fished and or big fish hunt at the places that I do know. Now, do I run a 2-stroke or a 4-stroke? I've got a 2-stroke, but it's oil injected and has the little sticker. So it counts as like high efficiency. So I can go in the lakes that require only 4-stroke. I have that little special sticker on mine. You do a lot of runs out of Moccasin Point. Yeah. They plant a lot of big trout or a lot of trout up there. There's a lot of big bass up in Moccasin. If you swim bait fish, there's a lot. And you don't have to just swim bait fish, but at night, guys get a lot of big fish at night at Moccasin by just simply rolling crankbaits and swim baits and things like that along the docks, along the ramps, along all the stuff out there. Are you allowed into Los Banos Creek? Yeah, I am. Like I said, I've got the 2-stroke, but it's got the sticker on it. Yep, a Huddleston works real good. You just go at nighttime and parallel things. So if the ramp, go to the right side, parallel cast, go to the left side, parallel cast. Then go to a dock, cast along this edge, and then cast along this edge. And you just walk around. When you do that all night, you'll catch a monster. Oh, yeah. I'll fish Los Banos Creek Reservoir. I fished it before. I don't have it on video, though. I fished it in my other boat before I got my GoPro. I had so much fun in my first boat. You guys would have loved some of them adventures. I had an old used boat, and it broke down during tournaments, left me stranded. It almost sunk a couple times. I hit stuff with it. I made all the dumbass mistakes you should make with that boat before I made them with this one. God, man. It's a good little place. A lot of fish in there. Good fish too. Decent sized fish there. Sometimes it can be tough though. Do I know anyone that resurfaces props? No, they usually just you get a new one. But if your boat's so old, you need to get like your prop resurfaced. I don't know. I wouldn't lie. I don't know. That's old school. I would assume most of the days now you just buy a new prop. But that sucks, right? Not the way our life is getting. Oh, my doohickey broke. Buy a new one, just throw it away. You know, you buy a computer, it breaks, you throw it away, you get a new one, right? Your Xbox breaks, you throw it away, you get a new one. Your TV breaks, you throw it away, you get a new one. Your air conditioner breaks, you throw it away, you get a new one. It's like everything breaks, you throw it away, and you get a new one, basically. No one fixes anything no more, barely. Lost art. Being able to sand and polish and, do carpentry and, be able to do work with wood and, all that good stuff. Work with your hands, machining things, creating things, fabricating things. But hell yeah, they are. They're pretty damn smooth. Like, this is a warm ass beer. I've been having this same beer for like an hour. And I was able to drink that way better than like a Coors Light even, which is a freaking water beer. Oh, yeah. If it just got chewed up, I'm sure there probably is somebody that does that. Like if it's just a little bit. But most props, though, like when they take damage, they take damage. And they have to be perfectly balanced. That's the problem. Is that they get off balance. If you make one fin bend, or you make one bend just a little more than the other, then you got that vibration, Not good on your lower end. But I tell you what, well, my first boat, I think I said the story about how when I went to buy it, I had the 1 3/4 inch ball, and he had the 2-inch hitch, and he didn't even want to wait. He didn't even bother pointing it out. And I could tell by the look on his face once I got home and someone else pointed it out to me. I could tell he knew. What an asshole. He even laughed and said, "Good luck getting home." What a jerk. But I safely got home. That down there, I had the transom break and fall off to secure it. I'd have the transom saver and the motor would be on one and that'd be boom to the other. But I'd hit a bump and the motor would pop up and then the thing would come out and then boom and then everything's all bad. Oh man. Yeah. I'll tell you, better to get a new $400 prop than a 40,000 or whatever, brand new Merc, 200 horsepower ain't gonna be cheap. That's a lot. All right. So, yeah, I would take care of that though. Don't run it vibrating. Not long. You won't have a big motor. I don't know. That's what people told me. When my prop got all messed up, I drove with that shit for like a year. Vibrating. I was like, I didn't care. Get me to point A to point B still, didn't it? I caught a bunch of big fish out of that boat too. Oh, I had so much fun in that boat. But that boat had to go. It was seen the end of its life cycle. Yeah, that's why you want to make sure you just stop, take care of that, and have a mechanic look at it, dial it all in. Because to me, like, there's a lot of stuff we could do ourselves or I take to a cheap person, right? But a lot of the times when you cut those corners in life, it's the high end things or the important things. When you cut the corners on those, you get exactly what you pay for. You usually it backfires, costs you 3 times as much in the end. There's certain stuff like one Sharpie versus another, right? This one maybe $3, or maybe there's a 99-cent brand. They don't quite last as long. But all I need to do is write a few things. I don't care, right? But long term, if it's like $150,000, whatever, better take care of it. I learned that lesson the hard way. I'm not one to speak. Trust me. I had to learn a lot of those lessons, unfortunately. But hey. Oh, yeah. The LV 500. Yeah, I didn't know if you were still around or not. I answered the question. With the LV 500, I definitely love the vertical jigging of it. I love just that soft lift, and I just feel the vibration. And my LV 500 is probably coming off the ground no more than about 2 or 3 feet, and then falling lightly down. And I'm feeling this very soft tick. That's what the bite has been before. Sometimes I pop it and yo-yo it, right? And it's different, you get slammed. But yeah, I love vertical yo-yoing it, but I do it like I bomb it out though. See, most guys think like that when they say vertical jigging an LV. You get over a school of bass and you drop your LV down and you vertically jig it up and down, right? Yo-yoing. What I do is I bomb this thing out a mile, right, far. Let it go as far as it can, and I jig it into me. So yeah, I vertical jig, but I cover water with it. So I do pretty good. That's like my favorite way to use it. I don't even like reeling it in. I hate doing that, actually. It's boring to me. I don't like it. I don't like reeling a rattle trap in or swimming it in or a LV. I jig all my LVs and my stuff like that. I don't know why. I can't swim them. I don't like swimming. I know they can be swimmed and ripped. Then I'll go to a jerk bait or a square bill. If they're supposed to be ran along the top water column, why am I using a lipless? I'm just going to throw a square bill or a jerk bait. Now, I do know in some instances that burning a lipless across the top of, certain things in this summer can be really killer. But in general, I don't like to do that stuff. I'll use it, in certain conditions. But I love that. Yep, definitely. So thanks for watching. Smash that like if you get a chance. Any other questions? We're hanging out. I'm just chilling. You got me as long as you want me. We'll hang out at least till 9:30. But if it dies off, we'll just call it a night. I'll see you guys on Friday. I'm working on a video for you guys, and I got another fishing trip coming up, so we'll be doing a lot of cool stuff. More tips and tricks. I'm going to do another whiteboard video, I think. We'll do one of those next, so that way, after one of the fishing trip videos. How you doing? It's hump day. You only eat a few. Too sweet after a while. Oil injected 2-stroke. That's what I got. Heck yeah. Get your new prop, buddy. And let me know. We'll go run on the Delta and go smash them, dude. I'd be super stoked to get out there and catch fish with you. Get in your boat. I'll get in mine. We'll go smash with each other and cover water or something. or meet up, like fish near each other where we could see each other, but you hit one side, I'll hit another. We can, you know what I mean? Have fun like that. Do all kinds of cool stuff. You're 5 minutes from Lads? Cool. Yep. Oh, yeah. That's like one of my favorite. I used to love going to Lowe's Park and launching from there because I like downtown too. But Lads is cool. Oh, yeah. A Mega Bass Dark Sleeper. Yep. I got one as a gift given to me. I caught a fish on it finally. I got 1 or 2 fish on it. But real-time bass, that was one of his things he liked to throw. Virgil, he likes the Dark Sleeper a lot. And so does Mike Beltran, aka Fisherman, the guy that I fish tournaments with sometimes. Excuse me. He likes the Dark Sleeper. It's just basically a goby or a sculpin, right? Which is a little mud sucker, and that's like kind of like a fish's like candy. Like some fish really like that. Oh yeah, 209 Bassin, more than welcome to jump on and fish with me one of these days if you want, brother. I fish with everybody, dude. I'm super chill and easy going. I'll take anybody fishing. You just got. So I'm Sam Matthews on Facebook. If you know who I am, reach out. And like I'm pretty chill. So as long as you pitch in on some gas and the stuff like that, or we're just going in both our whatever. But yeah, I mean, even then, And sometimes too, like if you can't really afford it, like for those people out there who have some fishing poles but never don't have money, can't afford the gas to pitch in, whatever. I'm super down to take a guy fishing every once in a while. Let's just put it that way. I like having fun going out fishing, like putting people on fish, sharing the love, man. It's fishing is just, I don't know, it's my passion. One of them, right? So, how's it going, Kyle? I see the little chat move I have to leave in because I'm blind. I'm like, eh. But I am, to my defense, like so many feet away from the computer screen. And the words are so teeny weeny. But Kyle here, what's going on? So we're going to close out soon for the night. But like I said, I'll at least roll to 209 or to 209. I'll at least roll till 9:30. So we talked about it when you fixed the thermostat. Oh, nice. Yep. How's it been working? It was just that stupid hole in the wall, huh? I love when it's just something funny like that. Oh, those are cool. All right, brothers. See you out of here. Keep it real. See you on Friday, 7 to 9. I might be on early. You never know. But at least 7 to 9. Might be on around 6, but either way. See you guys on Friday. Anybody else? Any questions? Anything you want to go over? Again, open book here. Again, I'm on getting a guest. So I don't know how wild it's going to be. It's going to be fun. We're going to see, if we can get one of my buddies here. And should be a good time. So smash that like if you get a chance. Thanks for watching Common Sense Fishing. But yeah, we're going to try to get a guest on here. We're going to argue fishing. He fishes differently than I fish, but we fish a lot the same. We fish very well together. So we'll see if we can get him on here. And should be a good treat. You guys can pick his brain, pick mine. We can argue together. Ought to be a pretty interesting show. We'll see. And if not, I've got a couple other people I think we might be able to try to get on. But I think we're ready for some what do you call it? From some guests, right? Have some guests on the show. Put them right there. I'll scoot over here, and we got plenty of screen room for us. And think it'll be interesting because you have two completely different schools of thought of fishing. One show, we get chatted up, and we're real good friends, so we'll probably be cracking jokes and having fun. And that'll probably go members only afterwards for sure. But usually, if the show gets a little derailed, we set it to members only. So for those of you who are members, I know for sure, all right, they're not going to have, they're not going to be all upset about one little joke or one stupid thing or this or Casper, isn't going to offend them. Because they're, for the general audience, try to keep things pretty milquetoast, right? Bland, but fun, entertaining, but not too crazy and shocking. But if we do, it's only. So that's the fun thing. When I'm done, if I had a wild live stream, I just go, okay, this one's going members only. What drop shot baits are your favorite? Oh, goodness. All of them. Man, you know what? I drop shot some weird stuff. A baby brush hog. How about that? That's one of my favorite ones to drop shot. A little baby brush hog. The ones that are like this big or something like that. Little tiny ones. Oh, yeah. With the little forearms and the little tail. Oh, yeah. Baby brush hog. Now, second would probably be a Berkeley gulp. Berkeley gulp, the inch or the 2.5 inch, the little minnow. Berkeley gulp. And then third would be a robo worm. Margarita mutilator, morning dawn, motor oil. You got a lot of different ones. Aaron's Magic, bold bluegill. Was it sexy shad or something like that, or something shad? I don't know. I like a lot of different ones. It just depends on what I'm fishing. I also drop shot Ned rig lures a lot. I drop shot flukes quite a bit. I've even been known to drop shot Cincos and big old worms and things. So, But I do think probably my preference does go like Berkeley Gold, all those little finesse ones, and the robo worm, stuff like that. But I'll drop shot all kinds of crap. Crawdads, any crawdad bait, a rage crawl or something. I'll drop shot some weird stuff. And they catch fish on them, so just depends. Any other questions? You guys have been awesome tonight. Thank you guys. So very, very interactive. This has been, haven't gone off the rails too much tonight. We've talked about, a lot of tips and tricks on how to analyze and change and adapt our fishing. And the last kind of 30 minutes, 45 minutes has just been a Q&A. So thank you guys for your questions. Any more? And again, smash that like button if you get a chance. Also, subscribe if you're new here. We do live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And throughout the week, we're going to be uploading regular videos. Also, if you get a chance, we are releasing the banana video. And have a great day. So it does look like the banana freaks us out at first. The engine overheats. The beeps at us. As soon as we put the banana outfit on, fishing gets shitty for a second. The engine overheats and beeps at us. But I put 2 and 2 together, figured out why. And then we proceeded to say, forget it. Left the banana outfit on. Proceeded to catch fish in front of people. Had a great time. And caught some more fish with the banana outfit on. Caught a lot of fish with it off because it got too hot. The sun just got me baked in it. I felt like a baked banana, so I was like, yo, man, this banana outfit's got to come off, brother. So, you haven't seen some frog fishing from you. Do I do any? Oh, yeah. I've got some frog fishing videos, mostly at Kelsey. And when I frog fish, it's usually only going to be at like the Delta or certain places that have a lot of matted stuff or crap that I'm going to put my frog over. Open water, I prefer a whopper plopper, a Sammy, a walk the dog, or some kind of wake bait even, versus a frog. A frog is usually only in ultra heavy cover, and I do have videos doing it at Kelsey. So, but I figured out how, though, at Kelsey, when other guys would go frog fishing, they go frog fishing all day in this 100-degree weather, and they'd catch 6 frogfish, and they'd have 20 or 25, 30 frog blow-ups, have an exciting day, and they caught 6 fish. And they'd talk to me, how many you catch? I caught like 30 3 to 5 pounders. What? Yep. Sitting out, fishing off the weed edges, dragging a Cinco around. I didn't get any explosions and blow-ups, but that was Kelsey. So if I'm at the Delta, I'll cast my frog up over that crap, like the matted green stuff, all the yuck, and that, that certain grass, or what's it called? Something wort or whatever it is. Anyways, I'll use my frogs over the Delta a lot. So, but you guys will see more of that to come. I actually threw the frog yesterday, and we had one blow up on Jeremy's frog, but it missed it, and I didn't get any blow ups on mine. So, but yeah, frog fish. Don't do a lot though, because again, open water, I tend to throw like whopper plopper or something different. Use different lures usually for that kind of stuff. Any other questions, folks? Looks like everybody. Anybody gonna say goodbye? Keep coming. I'll hang out with you guys. But we're about, guys. We got about 10 minutes. So just let me know what you guys want to know, or at least want to ask me, and I'll do my best to give you an answer. Good night, Daniel. Thanks for watching, brother. Tell Noah and Amber I love them. Uncle Sam loves you guys. And you behave from mom and dad. That's my brother right there. Good night, Daniel. Love you. Take it easy. Any other questions or topics? Anything you guys want to go over before I get off for the night? You guys have been awesome, though, too. I want to say thank you, guys. Thanks for smashing that like button. Thanks for watching and listening. So I appreciate it. They come and they go. They come and they go. What's a good way to clean up Noah throw up? Point to wife and run. No. Elbow grease. No. I found my preference to now be at about 8-pound tests. I use 6-pound and 8-pound test. Caught a lot of fish on both. Yeah, I found the 8-pound test to be extremely strong still, but very, very light. I've snapped 6-pound a few times though, on snags, a couple times on fish, but probably had fray in the line. For drag set, 4-pound test will work, right? It don't matter. Just all about the drag and playing the fish right. But I don't like mono for drop shot. Use fluoro. Get back in the kitchen and make a sandwich, Daniel. I'm just kidding. Good evening, y'all. I'm late, but I made it, huh? You made it right before we're about to get off, but we'll hang out for a while. We got about 10 more minutes. Awesome to see you. Thank you for getting on, Jeff. We got Mr. Garcia there. We need to get you back on the boat and go catch some fish. No more Kelsey Ranch for me, though. At least not right now. My membership expired. Womp, womp, womp. $2,500 is expensive, too. Good job, dude. Cracked him on the trout. $2,500 is a lot of money, brother. Renew $2,500 to fish right now. I don't know, man. It was kind of a gamble when I did it, to be honest, but I'm glad I did it. But, you know, at this point in my life, with the way things are going, I got to make sure I can pay my bills first. So, I haven't made a decision yet. We'll see. But that kind of sucks, you know. It's like I like to go there, let's just say that. Nope, it ain't. A lot of money. All right, folks. Any questions before we get off here? We got a little bit more time. Any topics, any questions, anything you guys want to ask me, fire away. Otherwise, I'm about to get off, and we'll see you guys on Friday. But we're still hanging out for a little bit. It's almost 9:30. Promise 9:30. So. Boom, 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 boom. Favorite reel? My Corrado HG so far has been pretty good, but you got to understand that my whole life I fish with cheap stuff. I don't have a lot of money as far as I have 4 kids and I do okay in life and it's all priorities, right? But I just have my whole life I've had a hard time spending a lot of money on my rod and reel. So some of my best stuff my wife bought me. And then I bought myself some gear that was about $200 or $300 maybe for the rod, the reel, everything. So I'm not gonna lie and act like I know more about stuff than I do know. And I've held and I fished with a couple of guys, other rods that were really high end and they felt really nice, but at the end of the day, I still outfish them with their fancy gear and my less fancy gear. Not all the time, but I mean, look at my buddy Jeremy, Basha Fell Jeremy. He's got like 15 or 10 or 15 double digits. Got a ton of 8s and 9s and 7s and 6s and stuff like that. And he catches a lot of big fish and catches a lot of small fish. He's got all of his gear is 10-year-old stuff that was either quality 10 years old or 20 years ago, or is broken, crappy stuff, missing half its eyes. But he's still fishing though, and he catches them. He just uses his gear according to how he has it, and he sets his drag and his stuff up, and he goes to town. Just like I said, my Jimmy Houston, the Jimmy Houston Hog Hunter combo, I've caught my first double digit on, and it was to this day is my longest lasting pole, and it's a $59.99 spinning rod combo from Walmart, and to this day it is my only pole that is that old, and is still working fine. So it's like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I love my, good night, Daniel. Love your curado. Yeah, I love my curado. Oh, I have a Fluger reel too. And I have a Lose as well. I sent a Lose to RC Creative. I hope he likes it. It was a nice one. That Lose was not a cheap one, but not super expensive, but it was a decent one. And it worked very well for me. Caught a lot of fish on it. Super clean and worked great. So, as a matter of fact, on Bass Fishing Lovers, we had a giveaway, and Ewing Kennedy, he won. He's going to get a reel for the giveaway. So he gets to choose whether he wants a spinning or a bait caster. I'm going to go pick him up a brand new, right out the box reel. So that's what I like to do for my people is I appreciate your guys' support, so I support back. Here on the channel, we have a lot of giveaways on Common Sense Fishing. My Facebook page, Bass Fishing Lovers, we have a lot of giveaways there. And, you know, I like to share with the community. Again, I'm not rich by any means. I'm actually kind of on the opposite end with 4 kids and as much debt as I've got. But I'm not homeless. I'm not poor. And I've been in very bad places in my life, and I'm very happy with where I'm at now. And I'd love to go further and better, but I like to share. I just am like that. So, you know, hope you guys don't mind, but that's how I am. So I like to share. You know, I think that's why you're here, right? Share the information, sharing the tips and tricks, sharing good times, laughs, good stories. That's what I hope to provide, and I hope I am. So, I mean, that's what I aim to do, and that's what I strive to do. Is you know, and be honorable always too as well. I don't tell like fibs or, you know what I mean, mess around. You know, I try to keep it as straight as I can. You know, sometimes we mess up, make mistakes, and I'll own up to them when I do. That's just only human, right? But thank you guys for watching. It is officially 9:30. We were gonna go ahead and get off for the night. We'll see you guys on Friday, 7 to 9. I might be on early, 6 o'clock or so you can look for me. It just depends. But actually, I might actually end up being late. You more than likely will probably see me sometime around 8 o'clock. Because I'll be fishing at the Delta on Friday. As a matter of fact, you might not see me at all Friday. And if you don't, I will either be on Saturday or Sunday as a makeup. So on the weekend, if you guys aren't doing anything in the afternoon and you know that I miss Friday, then you can probably expect to see me then. Other than that, thank you guys for watching. Smash that like and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next one. So good night, everybody. I'll make sure I type something in. We're going to leave the chat open for everybody to say good night. Anybody to get their last peeps in for the moment? Speak their little minds. Other than that, it's good night, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Got the best audience in the world here. Not a lot of negativity here on the channel. I really appreciate that from everybody. We have a good time. So, good night. We'll catch you on the next one.